heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork. Day to day pours out speech, and night to night reveals knowledge. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer, my redeemer. He asked life of you, you gave it to him, length of days forever and ever.
Well, good evening, everybody. Brad here with Big Family Homestead, or the Big Family Homestead. Man, oh man, it's about been a year since Christa and I heard about this craziness of you will own nothing and be happy. And then it sounds pretty good on the surface. Like, wait a minute, what do you mean? I own nothing and be happy? No bills? Oh, no. There's going to be plenty of bills. Well, what about my house? Do I get to keep my... No, you don't get to keep... You're going to rent that. And we found out more and more about this idea that was being pushed out there by a group called the World Economic Forum. And they're the masters of the universe, folks. These are the big brain people that run the top of the top companies. These are the modern day lords, ladies, kings, dukes, bishops, and up. Oh, I got a bug attacking me here. I'm going to get rid of you. Ladybugs. Well, they're Asian beetles. But these are the people that run the world. They're the top of the top of the top. And they're the ones that tell us what we're going to do involuntarily. They manipulate the system and massage the system from inside business, and they play games with politics, and they basically make it so their ideas and ideologies and even theologies get pushed forward, and we blindly go along. Well, there's been a problem. There's been a big problem. And the problem is this, that the internet is a double-edged sword. Good evening, guys. How you doing? I'm seeing in the chat, this is a live thing. So if you want to jump in, say hi, give that thumbs up. It does help the algorithm, but not only that, it helps to participate. So Tammy, good evening. Joni, Mo, Jan, Teresa, and many, many more. Good evening, guys. So here's the scoop. The internet is a double-edged sword, isn't it? And what used to be back in the day when any company or politician wanted to do something that was maybe a little bit outside the norm, all you had to do was really kind of just work with the press and get the press to say or do what you want. And then if the press goes along with it, then guess what? You could get away with just about anything you wanted to do, because what did we have back in the day? We didn't even have 24-hour news when I was like 12 years old. We had Tom Brokaw. We had Walter Cronkite. Who was your favorite, evening news? Because you only had news, twice a day? I mean, really? You had the morning stuff, the morning drive, but then you had the evening news and then the late news. And if the politicians or the policymakers wanted a thing to happen, then all they had to do was really convince those people. And then eventually you could tell a lie and it would just keep going. As long as you kept telling the lie, then eventually people would believe it. And that's what happened for so long, if you really think about it. What's your favorite big whopper that we've now found out is baloney? Or, Brace for impact, folks. Bologna sausage. What's your favorite Big Whopper? And you can put that in there. Just, keep it PC or not PC, family friendly. That's what I meant. But yes, the news does steer the boat. Most certainly, Richard Tolsman. I'm seeing you in there. Think about it. If they have the ear of the people, if they say a thing enough, then all they have to do is keep saying it, and eventually people believe it. So, but the internet came along, right? The internet, oh my gracious, the World Wide Web, the information superhighway. Now you have access directly to, wait a second, here it is, ready for it? Bypass the gatekeepers. And holy mackerel, they don't like that. When they're the ones who are not in control of the message anymore, then they cannot tell you what to think. You have to make up your own mind. Gasp. How can you possibly be responsible enough to read a thing that either happened or didn't happen and believe it or don't believe it? You can't possibly be handled with that kind. You can't possibly be trusted, rather, with that kind of responsibility where you decide what you believe. That would be ridiculous. You're just supposed to believe what they tell you, right? Well, the internet, double-edged sword. Now the fight is on. The fight is on. They need to control information. If this whole thing, okay, so 1 year in, I gotta go back to the beginning. This is where it started, folks. Remember about a year and a half ago, we started hearing the WEF, the World Economic Forum, telling everybody, they even made commercials. You can look it up. Go to their website. All the information is there. These are the muckety mucks, the top 1% of 1%, right? And they're the ones that are telling you our entire system is going to change. Everything is going to change. You will own nothing, but you're going to be happy. You will literally have no property. You will literally live in an apartment. You will literally eat bugs. You will literally do what we say. You will not have cars. You will do public transportation, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on of all the things that they want to do. And they want to put you into a rental type situation with everything. I mean, we're already there with some things, right? Right? Think about all the things that we don't really own, but they keep rolling over, and, you just get a new one, and, or apps or software. Oh my gosh, folks. I am into music production, and it's now the trend. The trend is now that you don't own the application. It used to be that I would get a CD or a thumb drive or a this or that, and I'd physically own the copy. But now it's just vapor. And if something's wrong, who do you gripe to? Nobody. They are pushing, the globalists are pushing for this. You will own nothing at all. And it's a rental type situation. Situation for everybody. You want to talk about a genius, evil, maniacal plot here. Think about it. If you are a producer of anything that's not a physical good, this is just the best ever, because you don't have to have, most of your staff to deal with humans. You don't have to have that. No. You don't have to really, you just make your thing, and now most of it's going to be made by AI, but you just make your thing, and there it is, and people rent it. It's so much more profit. And then if you have a physical doodad, it's still even better. Think about it. You still had to make the thing, but now somebody just comes and gets it if you don't pay your bill. And what's better for them even still is if they go to a digital currency, then guess what? It's just taken out of your bank and you don't even know it. This idea of you will own nothing and be happy has been backfiring. Jennifer Young, oh my gosh, Jennifer Young. Remember when TV was free? I do. As a matter of fact, here's little side rabbit, guys. By the way, good evening, everybody. Say hi. Throw a thumbs up. Does help. I was griping about this whole thing 15, 18 years ago when they started doing the services, the Hulu and the Netflix and the this and the that, right? Remember when we used to go to Blockbuster and rent a VHS and you'd bring it home and you'd watch it, and then if you didn't rewind the video, they would send actual troops to your house to beat you up and stuff? Well, they never did that part. But yeah, but then they switched over to this now, it was then cable. And you got all these channels. You got like a gazillion channels. And then it switched over to be like, you don't really need all of that. You don't want a gazillion channels. No, you don't want a gazillion channels for $50 a month. No, what you want is Netflix for $10 a month. And then it became $15. And then, if you want to watch those movies, well, that's going to be $20 a month. And pretty soon people didn't realize it, but before you noticed it, your bill was more than before. And you get less. Do you see how that works? And that's how it is. And it's going to be the same with the business model of you will own nothing and be happy. It's the same business model, guys. You're going to get less. You're going to have less of a quality life that they can just snatch away from you at a moment's notice if you don't have enough credits in your bank. And then, poof, you have nothing and you're supposed to still be happy. And you still don't even get to watch Ghostbusters. Oh, man. But here is the year in review. Do you guys remember when all this stuff came out? How many of you guys saw the video that they put out? The World Economic Forum, that happy guy. Hey, I'm young and I think renting everything is great. And that's usually, if somebody has that attitude, that means that they never really had to own something of serious value that they had to spend a lot of money on. It's just, it doesn't compute. But did you guys see that video? How many of y'all did? Steve says they're like dealers. First one's cheap or free, then they get you hooked. And it's the same thing. Oh my gracious, folks. It's the same thing. So the plan was to get you renting everything. World Economic Forum. Wait a minute. Isn't there something going on in Davos right now? Davos, yeah. Google Davos. Here's what I want you to do. Open up another window and Google Davos Heritage Foundation speech. You know what? If you have not watched this Davos Heritage Foundation speech, I like to watch the Valuetainment guys. You guys ever, who I'm talking about, the Valuetainment guys on YouTube. They do a podcast. It's usually long format, like 2 hours. You might want to watch that because this guy takes them to task in a way that was beautiful. Because these people, these Davos people, for the most part, not Mile from down south, our brethren down south. This guy's a baller. He is a rock star. He's awesome. He's the chainsaw guy that just won. The footballer, literally. He won. He's president, right? Isn't that, I think that's what, they have a president. But everything I've heard this guy say, I'm like, can we please get him as a politician up here, please? Like stat. But the Heritage Foundation guy, holy mackerel. This guy took them to task. I mean, he started out the speech by saying something like, hey, the idea that you guys are actually helping humanity is laughable. In front of them. So, 1 year in, like I was saying earlier, the internet is a double-edged sword, isn't it? Oh, folks. So, The problem is the information's out there. It's out there. And as much as the masters of the universe try to censor it, it still finds its way to get out there. And that's one of the things you're going to watch. This is the big shift. You ready for this? Clayton, I hope you're paying attention because I see you. Good evening. Tammy, heads up. Ready, Moni? Mary, I hope you guys are paying attention. Here it is. The new shift that's happening in Davos. They've figured out that people have pushed back on the rent to own on everything and eat your bugs and be happy. They figured out, okay, that was a little big of a push. That was a bridge too far. They're not gonna go this way. The new push, do you guys know what it is? Anybody? Hey, creative beauties. How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming. The new push is going to be misinformation and disinformation. Oh, folks. He who controls the information superhighway, the pipeline, the interwebs, he who controls that controls what people think. Think about that. Because you can be convinced if they just keep repeating it, just keep repeating it. Oh, the people that are on my TV, I can trust them, right? They just keep repeating it. And eventually, a lot of people who aren't paying attention believe it. And it's just that simple. When they can control the information pipeline, eventually they get enough people to believe it. Okay? So, if you know what I'm talking about, say hi. Say, yeah, Brad, I know what you're talking about. So if they can control the information, then they rule more brains than, they eventually will sway people, right? That's how it works. So here's the problem. They've realized that pushing to rent everything ain't going to work. So they've switched gears. Now the big push that I'm hearing again and again and again from these people, I'm trying to be kind, trying to be a little bit Christian, right? How many of you guys struggle with that when you deal with these people? Oh man, my mind goes to places that Jesus would not approve. He just would not. But the new push for them is misinformation and disinformation. And you watch, guys. You're going to start seeing it in the news everywhere. You're going to see it online. We have to combat this disinformation. We've got to combat this misinformation. Oh, my gracious. Yeah, don't believe your own eyes, right, Moni? Isn't that the truth? Ladies and gents, get ready. Now they're going to start pushing that they have to control the information. So what was this bastion of at least I can find out the truth, even if they controlled most of it, they want to control all of it. This is a mega problem, but there is hope. There's hope. So here it is. How many of you guys are aware that this year is the biggest election season year that's been pretty much recorded in terms of major countries electing their high office? It's the biggest in, from what I understand, recorded time. Like that many countries, that big of power structures, all electing their highest people. You guys aware of that? Because that's this year. It's not just the United States that is a big, big, big player, but it's a lot of places in the world. And I think that's why these Davos people, the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, I think that's why they backtracked, because they realized they pushed too far and now they've got to reassess, and they need to figure out a way to make you believe what they want you to believe, not what your lying eyes are telling you. Are you following me? So, why is that good news? Well, that's good news, guys, because I think people are finally starting to wake up and realizing that the traditional ways that people used to get information, not all of them have your best interest in mind. Not all of them. And frankly, most of them, they are what you call for-profit companies. Meaning, if they don't get you to watch, they don't sell advertising time. They don't sell ads. They don't sell widgets, gidgets, and gadgets for the people that pay them. That's how it works. So if they can't get your eyes stuck to what they say is truth or scary or you should be concerned about, if they can't do that, then they don't sell ads. But now you got the politician side over here. They're a different breed. Money and power. Money and power. And they use that as a weapon. So when we see now these people, these forces aligning like this, ladies and gents, here's what's going on is they need to control misinformation and disinformation so that you believe what they say. Now, again, there's good news. People are waking up. All we got to do is stop buying their widgets, gidgets, and gadgets, and everything's over. Do you guys remember what happened in Canada with the that protest and all those Canadian truckers just decided enough's enough? You guys remember that? Because I do. And they basically brought I'm trying to be kind, the ruling elites in Canada to a screeching halt. Now, I'm guessing that if they start trying to pull that junk in the biggest election season in recent recorded history all over the place, I think people are going to start pushing back. I think people are going to go, you know what? We don't have to do what we disagree with. Remember, you work for us. So I do think that there is hope. I really do. I have been one of the bright-eyed and bushy-tailed people that still believes that the United States is that shining city on a hill. Not that all things are good, because trust me, I've seen behind the curtain, and I know there's a lot of filth and corruption, and a lot of it's got to get washed away. Maybe it'll never come back. Maybe I'm just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. But man, I'm hopeful. I'm just hopeful that it could turn around. Maybe not probable, but I'm still hopeful. So, that said, ladies and gents, I do have something for you that you may not have been expecting. I have a free present for you. I have a gift. So, here's what you got to do. Open up a new tab in your browser. Go ahead. Yes, Tani, congratulations. I appreciate that you're here. And I do recognize that you come from the land down under. And I do think it is a shame that Men in Work got all that money, copyrights and stuff for the, man, that was a bummer. That was a great band. So, Tani, open up a new tab. Joanne, Steve, open up a new tab. Because here's what you need to do. You're going to go to everydayoutreach.com. Everydayoutreach, 2 words.com. And you're going to go get some free music. That's it. There's no strings attached. We're not going to beg for anything. None of that. It's free music. It's all Scripture music. 100% Scripture music. It's the Word of God, and I wrote music and sang it. The end. Go get it. Check it out. If you don't like it, you get double your money back. Okay? You guys have an awesome and blessed evening. Christa and I, by the way, we should be live tomorrow night, but her knee was bothering her really bad, and she's going to have surgery on Monday. Monday's the day. So, Monday's the day. Have an awesome and blessed night. Go get some free music. Everyday Outreach. Have a great night. Bye.
Oh Lord, in your strength the King rejoices, and in your salvation how greatly He exalts. You have given Him His heart's desire, and have not withheld the request of His